Hello, y'all. Welcome back. It's been a while since we have done a room makeover. Well, I've been working on projects here and there, but it's been a while since we've had a video that's actually, a project to mostly completion. So y'all know, if you've been around, that this living room, L-shaped room, piano area has been a struggle for me since we bought this house. It's a small space. The ceilings are lower here than basically anywhere else in the house, other than the bedrooms. And, you kind of have the old part of the home there at the front where they took out the windows and kind of made it a pass through. So it's just an oddly shaped space, which has made it very hard for me to know what to do. Now, many of you may recall seeing me spend an entire day hanging this green wallpaper. Listen, I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining why it just ended up not working, but for a multitude of reasons, the wallpaper just wasn't going to work for us long term. A lot of humidity here. It was peeling away from the walls despite my best efforts. So I just decided that ultimately the look I felt like was really starting to come together with our home overall. And I probably should have known this from the jump when I did the playroom makeover that's like our, Swiss Family Robinson jungle room makeover, that was really the vibe I wanted for the whole house. But at the time, I think I felt like, maybe it would be too much for the whole house. Anyways, here we are. And you're seeing us hanging shiplap. Yes, that's right. I put up these shiplap panels from Home Depot. They are very affordable. I hesitate to say an easier way to hang shiplap because I will be honest with you, it's really not all that easy. It might be easier if your walls are even, but as you will see here, our walls are very uneven. So it is a bit annoying. And these are kind of heavy and, cumbersome to work with and deal with. I did this with a little bit of help from my husband in our boys' room, but I did a lot of it by myself and it was utterly exhausting. So I did ask him to give me a hand here to help. And quite frankly, he did a lot of the hard part of this, which I really appreciated. So these come in, I cannot remember the width. I'm going to say maybe 42 inches wide. I don't recall. They work for us, but you can see there's lots of different types. But what I like about them is it does make getting that shiplap look happen much quicker and easier, especially if you don't have a lot of walls that have weird, odd shapes in them or a lot of cutouts that you need to make. Now, please hold your judgment, okay? It was raining, everything was wet outside, and we were like, we'll just cut them in the house. I promise that did not last for very long. We thought we could control the dust. It was way too much. So we ended up moving that outside. But, sometimes you think you can do these things, Nemo, but you just can't. That's us all the time. But it was nice to have a second set of hands that kind of work together on this. You hang them, and then all you really have to do is fill in the nail holes from the brad nails and the seams. So again, I hesitate to say that it's easy because I think this took us 2 full days. Now, again, full days meaning we have a farm to take care of, 8 kids to take care of. We have to feed people, all of that stuff. So maybe if you didn't and you were just working on it, you could get it all in a day. But for these 2 rooms, it took us about 2 days to hang all that shiplap. And then comes the fun part, which I will not torture you with like hours of footage of, which is me going around and filling all those brad nail holes. And then using the caulk, and I'm going to pronounce the L in that word. Has anybody seen the reel or TikTok, I don't know, of the lady explaining the different uses for black and white caulk? It's pretty hysterical. Makes me laugh. Anyways, so I'm going to go around and fill all of those. And then, if you do a very careful job of it, you can not have to sand too much. But I'll be honest, I sometimes get lazy. And so I do have to sand the tops, and it's probably a good idea anyways. Okay, just sand it, but you don't have to go crazy. And then, filling in the seams, the edges. I'm listening to music. You're going to see a bit of shenanigans and tomfoolery in today's video because, well, on day 2, 3, I don't know what day I'm on, you start to go a little bit like stir crazy, slap happy. And I usually listen to like audiobooks or podcasts, but sometimes I get to a point in a project where I need music, and I have a number of playlists. I think this playlist is called Sing It Sister. So you can guess what kind of music is on that. And I love tormenting my children because it's in my ears so they can't hear it. Sometimes I'll put it over a Bluetooth speaker, but a lot of the times I'll just play it in my ear where they can't hear it, and then I just run around dancing and singing. And I can't sing worth a hill of beans, so it's painful for everyone around me, but I can't hear myself because I have my headphones on, so I love it. Anyhow, now I'm putting up the trim pieces, like replacing the quarter round, because we removed that quarter round so that the paneling sits flush with the baseboard, and then we put the quarter round back over top. Man, when I did the girls' room, my teenagers, speaking of teenagers, there's one of them. Then I'm chasing her, trying to get her to dance with me. And she's like, I'm out of here. You're embarrassing me. And then I embarrassed myself. I should probably cut this out of the video, but I'm not gonna. This little tool that I have in my right hand, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's a cutter for quarter round, and it gives you all the various angles to do the inside corner, outside corner, and sort of all of your angular cuts for quarter round. And it is so handy and helpful. Just carry it around. This one, we got another kid pooped out in here, been chasing me around all day, messing with everything. It's hard, y'all, sometimes to do projects with so many kids underfoot. I'm sure if you have kids, you know the struggle. They just want to get in everything. And then you got dogs. Look at this muddy dog on my sofa. I didn't even see it, I don't think, at the time of filming that. One of the more difficult parts of doing this kind of shiplap is that you do have to paint all of those seams. So we had a little paint issue. It's an issue of my own creation. I ordered paint online and I knew what color I wanted. I thought I put that color in the cart, but I guess I put a color that was similar, but not quite it. And at this point, I was just like, well, we're gonna have to deal with it because I'm not wasting the money and I'm not da-da-da. So I decided to just use the color that I was given. I will put it down below in the description box. However, after a day or so of that, when we were still kind of working on the trim and stuff, even my husband was like, no, I want the other color. Even he, who cannot usually tell the difference between shades of whites and creams, was like, nope, I want the other color. So like a little gem that he is, he went to the store and got the right color for me. And that color is BEHR Coco Malt. It is the color that I used on the trim on the windows in the front. It is just, in my opinion, a beautiful off-white that it's a very creamy white. I feel as though it has like a very classy look. It doesn't pull too strongly one way or the other. I'll put the information in the description box about like the LRV and all of that. This is not that color. I say all that to say this is not that color. This is the color that I was originally given, and the lighting is so terrible that I'm sure you're like, great, fantastic. It looks just like the plain shiplap board. But this one is too stark white for me, especially for the warmth that I wanted in this room. So I do end up changing the paint color, and I can't remember what I filmed of that, if anything. I've been listening to too many trials. What, if anything? So I don't know if you'll see that, but you can kind of see the trim color there to the right where the front door is and everything. That's the Coco Malt color. So now I'm doing all these trim pieces, which this was a lot of cobbling together. There's some weird shapes in this house, and it was not easy, and it's still not finished. I still have to find some corner pieces, which you'll probably notice at the end. And there's my Christoph doing the light for me. So this light, you guys, it's been sitting in a box for like 2 months, 3 months, waiting for me to start this project. I lovingly refer to it as a fandelier because it has that chandelier vibe, but it's got fan blades that come out of the top because, well, again, it is hot here and humid here, and this house is kind of oddly laid out. So we really need all the fans we can get, but I don't love all the old kind of icky looking fans that were in here before. So we've been slowly trying to replace them, but it's also hard to find fans that have the vibe, have the aesthetic that you're going for. You know, you have to pick sometimes practicality over form, if you will, function over form. But this Fandelier to me is like the best of both worlds, because you get that beautiful chandelier vibe, but you still have a fan that works. It moves air, y'all. I'm not kidding. It's not like, oh, it feels like somebody's just like gently blowing on your face. It moves air surprisingly well. Again, we have low ceilings. I just leave this footage in here so that y'all can see that, you know, everything is not aesthetic and beautiful and like Instagram, Pinterest worthy. Things around here are a circus sometimes. I mean, look at me. I look homely as heck. We got kids in pajamas. I mean, there's blankets everywhere. This is my old dog, Stella, right here in the middle right now. She's blind and deaf. So it's like, you got to move her out of the way before she gets clobbered by something. So anyways, we're trying to open our new sofa that again has been sitting for, I've been like piecing together everything for this room for months. And so stuff has just been sitting in the garage and in closets and all of that until we could get to this. And it's kind of part of the reason I was like, we just have to do this. We have to get this done, because I just felt like it was backing up other projects. I did want to show you that little plastic thing. If you have air vents that, you know, again, ours are very oddly placed in this house where I'm like, oh, cool. You put an air vent exactly where one might want to put a piece of furniture. So those are like redirection or redirect things for your air vents, so that if you have floor vents like that and you want to make sure that the air is just not blowing up to the bottom of the sofa or a piece of furniture, you can kind of redirect the air with those. I'll link those down below in the description box. But they're really, really handy and helpful if you have floor vents that need, you know, to be blowing in a certain direction. Now, if you are catching a glimpse at these and thinking, Angie, what the actual hell are those? So I found these black and white photos on Etsy, and I have, again, been so excited about putting these up. I initially had planned, I got this pack of gold frames, which are amazing from Amazon. The quality of these is awesome. They're so pretty. They come matted. They're beautiful. I will link those as well. And I was going to do these black and white pictures. I've kind of had this in my mind, right? But then when I started pulling the room together and actually putting up the decor, I just couldn't quite find the spot that I liked them and felt like they were right. And you know, if you've seen any of my like vintage home finds and stuff, I love finding quirky things. So I will show you later, but those ended up making their way into our guest bath downstairs, and they are just perfection in the guest bath downstairs. They're hilarious. They're funny. You sit down on the toilet and you're like, what the heck is that? That's what I like for people to do when they come to my house. It's like everything looks normal until you stop for a second and look a little deeper. And then you're like, wait a second, what is that? I will link to everything that I can down below in the description box as far as like decor and stuff in this room. This is a ruggable. This is not sponsored. I bought this with my own monies. I've seen people talk about it. We haven't had rugs for a while because we have so many dogs and always dogs in training and stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like rugs can be invitations for dogs to pee, and I just get frustrated dealing with it. So I wanted to give the ruggable rugs a try, because you basically detach them and then you can wash them, which seems smart to me. So here we are at the grand reveal. And by grand reveal, I mean the room is like 90% done. Obviously, there's still going to be things that we add, especially over on the piano side. I'm kind of keeping my eye out at the antique stores and stuff for a large mirror to go over the two green chairs that you can see. I feel like that's what needs to go in that space. But I'm still like piecing things together. And I tried to record this with like a bunch of different lighting, because I was just getting annoyed with how like, the lamps aren't showing right and the lighting's not right. But so if it looks different in each clip, that's why, because I kept turning lamps off and on and changing the lighting and stuff so that you could kind of get a feel for it. I think I'm going to bring the doors back, the French doors that we had removed. I'm going to bring those back since there's no longer a chair there to like whack somebody that's sitting in a chair. You know, again, is it a little crowded with furniture in certain areas and stuff? Yes. But again, I have to blend form with function. We need seating. We need 2 sofas, you know, all of that. So there's probably a more appropriate way, according to designers, to arrange things and, you know, not have such a big sofa here or there or whatever. But I have to blend the two. So for me, this has been a great blend of everything that we love, but also need. I love the like very eclectic but vintage vibes, if you will, the feel of that. It feels very cozy. The whole family loves it. Feels like us. It feels like a representation of stuff and that we love and things that we love. And on the bookshelf, again, it doesn't look like a perfectly styled bookshelf because it's full of books that I love to look at, my flower books and, just various things that actually mean something to us. The Georgia Bulldog, the leopard, like these all have a meaning to us. They're not just random. So that's the kind of stuff that I really, really love incorporating. My green birds there, my green parrots, a little pic of Miss Stella. It's just, it feels more like us than anything I've done. And I'm still not done with the room. It's still not completed. I'm looking for a great stand to put my record player on so we can have our records in here. I do want to shout out the quality of these pictures from Amazon. Honestly, y'all, I've shared about them before, but they have like a canvas look to the picture. Then they're framed with wood. They're so pretty for the price. They're light. I love them. I love these mirrors from WAYFAIR. Again, I'll link to as much as I can. And hopefully you'll be able to find things if you're looking for them. But I love it. We're really happy with it. It's still not 100% done, but it's definitely like 90%. There'll be little things that I add, but the big pieces are done and we love it.